But we begin tonight's show in the NFL, in the NFC, as we had an NFC rematch that took place in Philadelphia. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Philadelphia Eagles 42-19. For the 49ers, Brock Purdy went 19 of 30. He threw for 314 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel was balling, 4 receptions, 116 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, he went 26 of 45. He threw for 298 passing yards, 1 touchdown. And A.J. Brown had 8 receptions for 114 receiving yards. Here's the 49ers players after their dominant performance over the Eagles.
I didn't want to get distracted by, I got to go back and show everybody what could have happened or what could have been. Got a new team. This is 2023, and that's where my mind was at.
It means a lot. Obviously, we wanted some payback. We tried not to think too much about last year, but we knew we could match up with them, and more than that. So I think we proved a good point.
I ain't gonna lie, I was in that zone like all week long. For us, like, they beat us in the NFC Championship, and at the end of the day, like, talking trash. I mean, this is part of the game. Hopefully nobody took it to heart, because it's just all fun and games at the end of the day.
That was the 49ers players after their dominant 42-19 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. So, my biggest takeaway from the 49ers dominant performance over the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday is this was a get-back game for the San Francisco 49ers, and this was an opportunity for the 49ers to prove to the Philadelphia Eagles and the rest of the world that last year in the NFC Championship game, had the 49ers not lost their starting quarterback and Brock Purdy or their backup quarterback and Josh Johnson, maybe, just maybe, the NFC Championship game would have been a different outcome if they had a quarterback to finish the actual game. And this was a dominant performance from the San Francisco 49ers. And for me, I wasn't necessarily surprised that the 49ers beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I was shocked at the way that the 49ers dominated the Philadelphia Eagles. In this game, the 49ers had six consecutive drives with the touchdown. 85-yard touchdown drive, 90-yard touchdown drive, 75-yard touchdown drive, 77-yard touchdown drive, another 75-yard touchdown drive, and a 48-yard touchdown drive. The 49ers, not only did they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, they beat down the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, as I was watching the game, I was thinking to myself, and this was the first time I thought this, because last year, after the Eagles beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, I know that the 49ers did lose their quarterbacks. And not only did they lose their quarterbacks in the NFC Championship game, the 49ers lost 4 quarterbacks throughout the season last year. They lost Tre Larkins during the regular season. They lost Jimmy Garoppolo as well during the regular season. And then in the NFC Championship game, not only does Brock Purdy go down, but also the backup, Josh Johnson, went down. At one point, Christian McCaffrey had to take snaps as the quarterback. So there was a moment yesterday as I was watching the 49ers dominate the Eagles, I was thinking to myself, in a way, you can make a legitimate argument that the 49ers beating the Eagles the way that they beat them yesterday, it delegitimizes the Philadelphia Eagles NFC Championship. You can make that argument. You can make an argument that it kind of takes away from the legitimacy of it, because if the 49ers had their quarterback in Brock Purdy, they could have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And I understand that injuries are a part of the game. And I said that after the NFC Championship. My mindset was, Injuries are a part of the game. You can't blame the Philadelphia Eagles for Brock Purdy getting injured. But what you can say is, and think about context and say, hey, if the 49ers had Brock Purdy, this game could have possibly had a different outcome. It could have had a different outcome. And the way that Deebo Samuel was dominating in this game, Deebo Samuel for the game, 22 rushing yards, 116 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Deebo Samuel, he obviously talks that talk, but he walks that walk as well. And he backs it up with his production on the football field. I saw multiple times yesterday where Deebo Samuel was literally manhandling Eagles defenders in their secondary. You know, usually when we see a blowout, usually we always talk about the team that won and say they dominated the opposing team in the trenches. That's usually what takes place. Not in this matchup yesterday. In this matchup yesterday, it was the 49ers receivers dominating the Eagles secondary. I mean, Deebo Samuel was a man amongst boys out there yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles had zero answers for Deebo Samuel yesterday afternoon at Lincoln Financial Field. Deebo Samuel was the best player on the field, and it was not close. It was not close. But I look at this San Francisco 49ers football team and the way that they are playing right now, I got to say, the San Francisco 49ers are not only the best team right now in the NFC, they are the best team in pro football. And you remember, the 49ers, they struggled as they went into their bye week. Their bye week was in week 9. And week 6 through 8, they lost 3 straight games to the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals. But before that, we had all said, after the 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, they beat the Cowboys 42-10. They were 5-0. And I came on the show, and I said the 49ers are the best team in pro football. And then they lost 3 straight games. They were dealing with a bunch of injuries. Deebo Samuel was injured. Christian McCaffrey wasn't 100%. Trent Williams was also out. And I was like, man, they're struggling. I'm not so sure they're the best team in the NFC anymore. I'm not so sure they're the best team in the NFL. And over the last 4 weeks since their bye week, the San Francisco 49ers have proven that when they are at their best, they are the best team in the NFL. After their bye week in week 9, they dominated the Jaguars 34-3. They followed that up and they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 27-14. And then in week 12 on Thanksgiving, they beat Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and the Seattle Seahawks 31-13. And they completely dominated the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. It was a San Francisco 49ers masterpiece that took place. And Brock Purdy was balling. Brock Purdy was balling yesterday. Brock Purdy, 19 of 27, 314 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. He had a great performance. And I've been critical of Brock Purdy. And I still don't believe Brock Purdy is an elite quarterback. But it is undeniable that Brock Purdy is in the NFL MVP conversation. You look at Brock Purdy right now for the season, 36 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,559 passing yards. He's completing 70% of his passes. But let's get a little deeper for his statistics right now. His passer rating is 116. That's ranked first in the NFL. His yards per pass attempt is 9.6. That's ranked first in the NFL. He's completing 70% of his passes. That's ranked first in the NFL. His touchdown percentage is 6.9. That's ranked first in the NFL. He has four 3 touchdown or more games, which is tied for second in the NFL. He has 53 20-yard completions. That's tied for second in the NFL. So I have to be honest and not be biased and give an honest opinion about Brock Purdy. I don't believe Brock Purdy is elite. but he's playing some very, very good football right now. And to me, the two best quarterbacks who are playing at the moment and playing some great football are Dak Prescott and Brock Purdy. Now, neither Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy are top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL, but currently they are the two best quarterbacks in the NFL playing right now. They're the two best. And right now, Brock Purdy, he is the odds-on favorite to win NFL MVP. Dak Prescott second, Jalen Hurts is third, but he's playing some tremendous football. But, man, the 49ers were really motivated in this game. And then I'm looking at Deebo Samuel, right? This was in February at the Super Bowl. This was on the NFC Championship game loss. This is Deebo Samuel. He says, quote, I feel like if Brock was our quarterback and how our offense moves, I don't think it would have been close. He was talking about the NFC Championship game. And boy, did he back it up. He backed it up. He played sensational. And I also thought that when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, I got my questions about the Philadelphia Eagles. I really, really do. Like, defensively, this Philadelphia Eagles football team, they are not the same team this year compared to what they were last year. You look at the Eagles this year. This was before yesterday against the 49ers. This were their numbers. Opposing teams, they average 22 points per game against the Eagles defense. That's ranked 20th in the NFL. Opposing teams average 256 passing yards per game. That's ranked 29th in the NFL. Opposing teams, before yesterday, had 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's ranked 30th in the NFL. And opponents' third down conversion percentage is 46%. That's ranked 30th in the NFL. Defensively, this Philadelphia Eagles football team is not the same team in 2023 that they were in 2022. They are struggling defensively right now. And I look at their defense, personnel-wise, they have a solid defense. Up front, you got Brandon Graham. You still got Fletcher Cox. You got Jordan Davis as well. Okay? They just signed Shaquille Leonard. He's the former linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts. You still got Hassan Reddick. In the secondary, though, that's where they struggle. They struggle in the secondary. In the secondary, you got Kevin Byard. You got James Bradbury, who Deebo Samuel was cooking yesterday. Deebo was cooking James Bradbury yesterday. And you still got big play Darius Slay. But that secondary is getting cooked right now. They're not playing good football. They really, really not. And I thought offensively, the Eagles, them having to kick field goals on those first 2 possessions really changed the complexion of the football game. Because if you go up 14-0 against the 49ers, I'm not sure how Brock Purdy would have responded being down 14-0 in a hostile environment at Lincoln Financial Field. But the Eagles having to settle for 2 field goals and the 49ers thinking, wow, we're only down 6 at the end of the first quarter. We're only down 6. I thought the 49ers took that momentum, and in the final 3 quarters, the 49ers outscored the Eagles 42-13. 42-13 over the last 3 quarters of that game. It was a dominating performance by the San Francisco 49ers. And if these two teams meet in the NFC Championship game again, I think the 49ers deserve to be favored at this point. They deserve to be favored at this point. Over the last 4 weeks, since their bye week, they've been playing some of the best football in the NFL. They are the best team in the NFL right now, and they are the odds-on favorite in my eyes to win the Super Bowl. And I don't even think any team in the AFC can even beat the 49ers right now. I know the 49ers are going to play the Ravens, I believe, on Christmas, but I don't think the Chiefs can beat the 49ers. I damn sure don't believe the Dolphins can beat the 49ers. Ravens, I would probably favor the 49ers over the Ravens right now. We'll see what happens when they match up against each other. I believe it's like week 16 or week 17 on Christmas, but 49ers are the best team right now in the NFL, and it's not close. It's not close. Philadelphia needs to figure some things out quick, fast, and in a hurry, because if they don't get their acts together, the Philadelphia Eagles not only could lose out on being the number 1 seed, but they could also lose the division lead in the NFC East. They got the Cowboys next week in Dallas on Sunday Night Football. That's a big, big game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Big, big game. They could fall to 10-3, and the Cowboys could definitely win that matchup, and they'll be the number 1 team in the NFC East. So it's going to be interesting moving forward, but great performance all around by the San Francisco 49ers, and it was a big-time win for them boys, for sure.